what I just meant by no money was found, like, at the time.
Yeah.
But
that's not all of it, though. I'm trying to do some quick math. And obviously I'm meant for musical theater. I'm like, that's not all of it, is it?
No, 9,710 bills.
Jeez.
Never surfaced.
Oh, wow. That's almost 1,000 bills of it. Like, not even. He asked for them all in 20s too. So so that's a lot of money that's just vanished.
So it was attached with rubber bands to 20 like $1 things, and found in the river.
The reason I heard that like investigators in the FBI were so convinced that they're like, yes, for sure it's his, is because they matched it up to
serial numbers used.
Yeah, the serial numbers of the bills that were alleged alleged to be like given to him. They're like, exactly, yeah. They're like, these are the serial numbers of those bills. You find them, basically it means it's his, so that's how they knew that, which was cool.
So basically the FBI like came in immediately, and they opened up this extensive search officer for so many years, and it was called NORJAC, for Northwest Hijacking, and hundreds.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard the word before, and I never really knew what that was. Oh, that's cool. Fun facts.
So they interviewed hundreds of people, tracked leads across the nation, and they literally scoured this aircraft for evidence, and like by the 5-year anniversary, they were just like there were more than 800 suspects, and they eliminated like all but 24 for like serious consideration. And so they don't really know if he did survive his jump from the plane. That's like a big mystery about it, and I know, Amelia, you're going to get into that. And the parachute that he used could have been steered. His clothing and footwear were just unsuitable for a rough landing. Like, this man was in a suit and like probably like dress shoes, and he had jumped into a wooded area at night, not able to see where you're going, and that's even like dangerous for like a seasoned pro, and obviously due to like the nerves that the crew was noticing, and he was definitely not.
Yep.
And then this theory was given an added boost in 1980. Yeah, I did have it. I just forgot that I wrote it down. Found a rotting package full of $20 bills. Oh, I have 5,800 in all, and they matched the ransom money to the serial numbers.
I found it really interesting when they said that they found the notes, like the bills there. They found it like in the crime scene evidence photos, they're all like ripped up and like as if not only have they gone through the washer and dryer, but like with like bleach or something, several rounds, like they were not pretty, No. But they say it's because the investigators tried to pry them apart, like this. They described it as it being very like they were like stuck together as if it was like pressed with a heavy weight. You know what I mean? So they were like pin flat. And probably really wet too, because I think they found the briefcase in like water. Yeah. So like the fact that at the time, I mean, I'm sure American money still is paper, but like paper money made of like tree pulp, right? So you add more water to it, it becomes like the mush that it used to be, I guess, if that makes sense. And then you pack it in, like it's just gonna make like a, it's essentially like trying to pry 2 leaves apart without ripping them. Like it's gonna be so hard to do that,
They actually now have professionals who do that for a living.
In
houses that burn down or stuff, like people's houses that catch on fire, if like their safe money or whatever burns, like there's people who sit there and pry it apart, and then they'll reimburse you, kind of thing.
So also, just a quick thing, that during the hijacking, he was wearing like this black J.C. Penney. We love an affordable.
That's a very oddly specific detail.
He was wearing a black J.C. Penney tie that he took off before jumping. So this later provided them with a DNA sample, and yet they considered more than 800 suspects and eliminated all but 24 for consideration, like with a DNA sample. So it just shows that this man is literally a ghost.
How much DNA did they get off of it?
I wouldn't think that much. I didn't get any specifics.
I was gonna say, you might get like maybe if this guy was biologically male and grew like beard hair, maybe you might get on it. I don't know.
Like that can't get that much. And also it was a clip-on.
Oh,
dude,
he's not even a bougie bitch. No, he's not even a bougie bitch.
No, he's bougie on a budget. Very bougie on a budget.
He's bougie on a budget.
But this is what I don't understand. Like, you're going to hijack this plane, ask for $200. That's why he wanted $200,000. He wanted to buy himself an actual tie that wasn't from JCPenney. Like, that was it. That was easily it.
Okay, wait a minute. What kind of tie What kind of tie is going to cost you that much money?
He would find one. He would get that $200,000 and he would land and he'd be
swear
like,
to God.
listen, I don't know what to spend this money on. I don't want to get car. No. Something that'll actually benefit me. No. You know what I'm gonna find? I'm gonna find a $200,000 tie. And I'm gonna buy that. So
I swear to God,
if he lived and
that tie better come with a genie and 3 wishes for it to be that fucking expensive.
Literally,
That's a joke.
it better
That
tell
is
me my
highway robbery.
fortune.
That's ugh.
So if he didn't use that money to buy a new tie, then DB, if you're listening, you did something wrong. You did something terribly wrong. Go with, because I know you still have some left. I know you do, because you seem like the
Imagine
kind of guy.
several decades later, this guy comes out of hiding just to be like, this bitch really said, she really called me bougie on a budget.
Listen, DB, Cooper, listen, look at me in my face right now. Your tie, disgusting, horrible. Anybody else who wears a JCPenney clip-on tie, that's totally fine. You do you, boo. But you're literally hijacking a plane. Like, you're hijacking a plane. You have this bomb in a briefcase. You're wearing a full suit. Like, you're a man on a mission. You need to dress for success. This is why we don't know where you are. This is why you need to dress for success. Like, this is why you probably died. Because
you're not a 4-year-old at an Easter brunch who's not going to keep the tie on anyways.
Literally. What's it going to do? Choke you?
Oh my God.
You're probably got strangled by your parachute. So we don't need to worry about that. But anyways, disgusting. Anybody who also wears a JCPenney tie, that is totally fine. And you make that fit. But if you're hijacking a plane, why are you wearing a clip-on tie? Why are you wearing a clip-on tie? That can fall off so easily.
Easy access.
And there's DNA on it. Why would you, like? Anyways, that's my only discrepancy. My only discrepancy with this case.
Still with that DNA though, they never
No,
found
exactly.
anybody.
Crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine what you'd have on it and what you'd be able to extract. Like, this is what, 1970?
Well, I mean, he took it off. He probably was wearing gloves because he was parachuting. But
did they find any prints anywhere, like in the seat that he was sitting in? Nothing.
Not really anything. No. Man was a ghost.
I mean, I guess despite us roasting the absolute shit out of him so brutally, he did it right. Like, he got away with it. X amount of years later, we still don't know who this guy is. We have theories, we have people,
There's
but
a lot
we
of
don't
theories,
really,
yeah.
you know?
No.
So there you go. I call that, I mean, I don't want to call it a success, like he still tried to bomb a plane, like what the actual fuck. But like, he accomplished what he set out to do. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe not
Scratch
the way
that.
he
No.
wanted. Yeah.
Like, I frankly don't really know what he was trying to do. Was he either? I don't know if he was trying to, like, did he just use the bomb as a threat and never actually meant to detonate it, or did he mean to detonate the bomb and then got sidetracked with the money, or like, because some part of this doesn't make sense, and like, what was his actual point, you know? But the fact that no one knows who he is means he sort of did hit right, like he sort of did his job, like what he set out to do. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Because, like, why... You came on with this bomb. And if you had plans for a parachute to jump out of this plane, why would you make them land somewhere?
Yeah. Just get the fuck off when you
Literally,
land and
so,
sprint like your life depends
Did he
on
have
it.
like a draw site like in mind that he wanted? But he jumped in this weird like wooden area in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So it's like
there's a whole theory about that and like how he like had someone help him escape or whatever, and like there's logistics around that I'll get into. But
I don't know. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that's my presentation of the case. So, you want to dive into some evidence and forensics?
Yeah, some crime scene analysis.
Yeah.
Some forensics. Some how did he survive or not? Fun stuff.
Some witnesses.
So, yeah.
Suspects. Yeah. Amelia, do you want to walk us through?
Yep. I think
shebang.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest questions to this day about this case is whether or not D.B. Cooper actually survived his jump, right? And there are many steps and things to consider, and I'm going to walk you through them. However, first and foremost, I would like to personally shout out my parents and sister for helping me research this. Because
shout out that entire family. Y'all put in so much work. It's most, and I love it.
Like, here's the thing. My mom is a doctor. My dad is an aeronautics engineer. The biggest big brain energy in my household, and my sister is like doing Bachelor of Science. Like, they're so unbelievably smart, and they all have their own strengths. Dream team and a half, and I just felt like I had to shout them out. Anyway, that being said, I have a beautiful scan here of documents, of notes that my sister and I, drafted up. She wrote them down, but we were talking about this over FaceTime one time. And I think the best place to start for this is the actual plane. So I talked to my dad about this, and we looked up what kind of plane this was, and that's how I figured out it was a 727, a passenger jet. A lot of the time, emergency exits on planes are actually on the side in front of the wing. And the standard main entrance for these kinds of planes is on the side, near the front, right? I'm sure you've seen in old TV footage of I don't know, Jackie Kennedy or something, walking down those stairs, when the door kind of opens down and there's those little stairs, right? So that's a real thing. People used to get on the planes using that front entrance, right? But for this case and for this kind of plane that he was on, it was the door, at least the emergency door, was in the back. And the slide thing that they wanted, that he wanted to, open up the slide for me when I leave, right? The slide, I don't think would have lasted. It had zero chance. You're in the middle of the air right now. You're flying 10,000 feet. Nowadays, on modern passenger jets, we hear 30,000 feet, which is the standard cruising altitude, I like to believe. At least I'm pretty sure. This, because he was flying a little lower, it's a little above actually the minimum deployment height. He was actually too high for it. Yep. So, but he's lower than what the normal cruising altitude would have been. So, because it's a whole other thing to be falling from 30,000 feet in the air. 10,000 feet is still a lot, frankly, if we're being honest. But it's more survivable. And seeing as he was an inexperienced flyer, I guess, as he doesn't really do this kind of parachute thing often. Literally.
Guarantee you that was the first time he ever did it.
For sure. For sure.
No, he didn't even bother getting his certification.
No.
Screw getting those 100 hours.
No, not
Go
even.
straight to the hijack.
Of course. So he's flying at around 10,000 feet at about 95 kilometers an hour. That's around nowadays exactly now. I feel like saying it's 500 to 700 kilometers an hour.
Well, the normal cruise speed normally is for a Boeing 727. I want to say it's 917 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I mean on a standard passenger jet, I've heard it's anywhere from I think 7 to 9. I don't even know 7 to 900 kilometers an hour. So this guy was at a lower altitude and flying slower than standard cruising. So he was in a decent, maybe not ideal, but a decent position to be jumping out of this plane.
It's very debatable.
It's better than your average 700 kilometers an hour, 30,000 feet. You know what I mean? We have to start with whether or not he literally could have even tried to get it off. Could he even have gotten off the plane? Right? Did he make the jump? Or whatever. Like my dad explained this to me. He was saying, should the emergency exit be in front of the wing, on most planes, he would not have made it. The aerodynamics of the plane, he would have gotten squashed like a bug on the side of the plane, or he might have even hit the engine, hit the wing. So many things could have gone wrong and just completely kersplat, just right off the bat. However, what works in his favor is that he left through the back. He's not in the engine's way. He's not in anything else's way. He just kind of leap of faith, The next thing we're going to consider, though, is that the pressure in the cabin, despite not being at the right, not being at 30,000, only at 10,000, the pressure in the cabin is still pretty high. So deploying the slide and opening the emergency exit in the back would have essentially acted like a giant vacuum cleaner. Yeah. So he probably wasn't prepared. He probably got vacuum sucked out, which means he was probably all kinds of disoriented and whatever. The flight attendant, thankfully, once she did deploy the emergency exit in the back, she knew to step back because she's more used to the pressure. So she knew this. She knew that if she stood too close, she'd be vacuum sucked out of the plane.
We knew this.
So she was not having any of this, but you can go have fun. So he had his parachute with him. She stood back. She kind of held the door open, was like, all right, chill. He manages, so this is another thing. Did he jump out? Did he take a step out? Did he kind of just leap of faith? Or was he just completely discombobulated and just vacuum sucked out of this tiny tin can in the air?